What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Volleyball Podcast, breaking down UTRGV Vaqueros football here in their inaugural season. My name is Bryan Ramos.
I'm Ivan Palacios, and Bryan, we're officially halfway through the inaugural UTRGV football season. How are we feeling, man? It's been historic to say nonetheless to start this program here.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it's flown by. You know what I mean? Football time is football season, whether it's high school, NFL, football season in general, from August to December, January, February, when the Super Bowl happens. That's my favorite time of the year. And man, UTRGV in their inaugural season, it has flown by, man. And we're already at the midway point, as you said. UTRGV Vaqueros are 5-1 overall. So and they're on their bye week here in week 7. So it's just been crazy how fast everything has flown by, and I think really impressive. I mean, I don't know how many people predicted UTRGV would get off to a 5-1 start, 1-1 in conference, which we'll get into in a minute after the Vaqueros secured their first ever conference win this past weekend in week 6, and we'll break that down. But Ivan, man, just your thoughts as a whole, just to see. I mean, the unbelievable start that UTRGV has done, which I mean hasn't been done since Kennesaw State did it, I believe, in 2015. So just your thoughts on UTRGV and here at the midway point of the season.
That's like you said. I don't think many people expected this kind of start from UTRGV. We were at that first game 66-0 or six, I was it 70-0,
66.
66-0.
Yep.
We were kind of like, okay, this team might be pretty good. And as the weeks progress, they just continue showing that they're for real. It doesn't matter who they're playing, they're going to step up every night and they're going to give you your best shot, man. For a first year program to be 5-1, and that's a win against Prairie View A&M, and like you mentioned, their first conference win last week. Just an impressive start for Coach Bush and these guys, and it's just exciting to see what the Valley's built, and just how it's going to continue to grow in years come.
Yeah, they played 6 games. 4 of them have been home games, 4 sellouts, and 4 wins, which it's hard to do. It's hard to win football games at any level, and UTRGV took care of business this past weekend against Houston Christian, which we'll get into. But I mean, before we dive into that, I mean, let's kind of break it down what that means here for the Vaqueros here in year one. I mean, there's 10 conference teams in the Southland Conference, and 4 of those do not have wins yet. UTRGV in the win column after this past weekend's win over Houston Christian. So, Ivan, I think a lot of people had questions. Oh, would UTRGV be able to compete in the Southland Conference? And here they are. They answered that question this past weekend, and we'll get down into breaking down that game. But I mean, just your thought on what that conference win means for the Vaqueros as they head into the final 6 weeks of their season, which are all Southland Conference games.
I think it's good to kind of get that monkey off your back because a lot of people were saying this team's not going to win a conference game. There's no way, and there was some doubts. I mean, you're going up against real competition now, established competition. We talked about it before. The Southland is one of the top, FCS conferences there is. You got teams like UIW, Lamar, just to name a few, and for them to get their first win on their second try, it's just impressive and a real confidence booster. And it just goes to show, like, hey, we're here and we're going to compete. We're not just going to be this pushover for the rest of the conference, or chalk up a win for the rest of the conference. And I know there were some people saying like, hey, well, look at who they played early on. Well, what's the excuse now, man? They've played some tougher teams now the last 2 weeks, 2 tough games. They hung around with Southeastern for a while, and then they pick up that win against HCU last week. So I think it just says this program's for real, and we got some special things brewing here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, they've definitely found some things out, man. And I mean, you're 5-1 overall. One more win gets you to 500. You know what I mean? And then anything on top of that, if you can finish above 500 in your inaugural season, I think that's more. That's got to be exceeding expectations, you know. And I know these guys, they're not satisfied with just being 5-1. We talked to Coach Bush earlier today at his press conference, and he said, "Hey, we're 5-1. We could end up 5-7. You know what I mean? That's a real thing that can happen. So the Vaqueros they're back at work on their bye week to make sure they don't end up 5-7 as they keep on chasing Southland Conference wins. Once you get a little taste, you want more. You know what I mean? So we know the Vaqueros are going to be hungry entering the second half of their season as they continue Southland Conference play. And as we mentioned, Ivan, I mean, these Vaqueros, man, they took care of business here in week 6. Their first Southland Conference home game and their first Southland Conference win as the Vaqueros pick up a 27-7 victory over the Houston Christian Huskies. this past Saturday at Vaquer Stadium. As we mentioned earlier, another sellout crowd. Now, Ivan, I mean, I think the story of this one was defense. We all know how good UTRGV's offense was, like coming into entering last week's game, number one offense in the nation in terms of yardage. But it was the defense that played lights out from start to finish. They were on the field a lot in the first half. Only gave up one touchdown, then pitched a second half shutout, 6 sacks, fumble recoveries, interceptions. They were everywhere. Ivan, just your thoughts on how the Vaqueros got it done in week 6 to earn their first Southland Conference victory.
They say defense wins championships, and it's a good thing to see this defense playing so hot like they are. I mean, we've talked a lot about the offense. We talked about Eddie, Xavier, the running backs they got there. Tony Diaz at receiver, but the defense came up big. I mean, they hold HCU to 5 of 15 on third downs. You mentioned, 6 sacks on this team and just 214 yards of offense allowed. I mean, just what a performance by this defense, especially when the offense was struggling. Eddie had 2 interceptions this game. I mean, he's under 200 yards. I think for the first time this year that he's gone under 200 yards. And, for the defense to pick up that slack and be like, don't worry, we got you guys. And they held it down until UTRGV came to life there in the second half. And, just what a performance by this defense. I mean, 6 sacks is just crazy against, a Division I opponent like that.
Yeah, just a really unbelievable performance. And Houston Christian, they were able to move the ball a little bit, had some success early, but the second pass attempt of the game was an interception by Logic Hudgens, his first pick of the year. So that kind of set the tone for, I think, hey man, there was a lot of talk about Houston Christian's defense coming into this one. You know what I mean? They have really good, one of the best linebackers in the conference, and then they have one of the best defenses, third down defenses, and in terms of yardage, one of the top defenses. And the Vaqueros, they showed, hey man, we can play some defense down here in the valley as well, man. So defensively, impressive performance. But as you said, it was 0-0 until midway through the second quarter. Eddie Lee Marburger drops back to pass, and Houston Christian brings a blitz kind of off the right side of the UTRGV, on the right side of the UTRGV offensive line. Eddie Lee Marburger sees that there's nobody accounting for him. He takes away around the left end of the defense for a 30-yard touchdown, shows off the wheels and breaks a tackle to get in the end zone to put UTRGV on the board 7-0. And then later in the quarter, they already had one goal line stand that led to a missed field goal for Houston Christian. But then the way Houston Christian gets into the end zone, I think it was like 5 or 6 plays there, kind of at the goal line, where the Vaqueros, man, they just refused to budge, man. You know what I mean? They didn't give anything. And then finally, Houston Christian was able to get in on a 1-yard touchdown run by running back Zayshawn Edwards. But Ivan, your thoughts on that first half and UTRGV playing kind of dead even with Houston Christian?
I think it's kind of what we expected. We knew Houston Christian had a good defense coming into this one. We talked about it before, and it was a little bit of a defensive slugfest like that. But the thing is, UTRGV held on and they held its own until the time came. And once their defense did their job, the offense stepped up in that second half, like we talked about. Eddie Lee Marburger, 2 rushing touchdowns as a quarterback, man. I think that's the second time this year he leads them in rushing too. And everyone knows Eddie's arm, and the people that didn't watch him in high school might not know this kid's got wheels, man. And it's good to see him kind of rolling those wheels out there and getting going just like he did back in high school. I think he put up quite a bit of numbers there, especially his senior year rushing the ball. So it really was complimentary football. They leaned on the defense early, and the offense came up big there in that second half with 20-0 scoring, outscoring HCU there in that second half to secure that win. And just an overall dominant performance. The rushing game dominant as usual, 206 rushing yards on the night. We mentioned Eddie Lee leads the team there with 95, I think, is the official number. And, Fabian Garcia, San Benito kid, 53 rushing yards, been a long of 33. And, TJ Dement, he's been solid all season long as well. Someone that, 2 guys that came in as freshmen and now they're getting the ball out there and kind of stepping up there in Nate Denny's absence.
Yeah, it was, as you said, Ivan, the offense, defense was on the field a lot in the first half. The UTRGV's defense was. So in the second half, UTRGV wanted to switch things up, really run that ball, move the chains, keep the chains moving, and keep the Vaqueros offense on the field to give the defense a break, because the defense was balling out, man. They were on the field a lot in the first half, only gave up one touchdown. Then, of course, in the second half, they do their thing and they dominate. It was just a really impressive defensive performance from the Vaqueros. And as you said, Ivan, they outscore them 20-0 in the second half. A couple of Bryson Gardner field goals, 1 yard, another 1 yard touchdown run by Eddie Lee Marburger, and then a 4 yard touchdown pass to Ismail Smith Flores on some play action near the goal line. So the Vaqueros go up 27-7, and the defense, man, they did their job. As you said, 6 sacks on the night. Ian Box, defensive end, had 2 sacks. Abdin Mata, defensive tackle, had 2 sacks. Andrew Ariola gets a sack, and Jamarcus Anderson also comes down with a sack. So, I mean, 6 different guys get after it. We talked about Logic Hudgens, his interception. Elijah Prosser forces another fumble, and Spencer Rich jumps on that one. But defensively, it was just an all-around performance. Jaden Haygood, 11 tackles, his second 11 tackle game in 6 games for the Vaqueros. He's their leading tackler. Spencer Rich, 8 stops. And Elijah Prosser, man, he just does his thing. 7 tackles, a forced fumble. And TJ Neal, of course, 6 tackles himself. So there in the secondary. So, I mean, man, I mean, it was just really balanced performance, as you said. You wanted to see the defense do some things, get some stops. They did that. Offense takes care of business, moves the ball when it has to, and converts in the red zone. So, man, I mean, what are your ultimately your takeaways from the Vaqueros' first Southland Conference win this past weekend?
I think it was nice to see the other side. I mean, they defense has played lights out all year, but you have that offense that was clicking, and so it kind of they benefit off that too. But it was nice to see the defense really, hold that weight early on and step up. We've seen UTRGV win many different ways this year. We saw them win a close one against Prairie View A&M. We saw the offense put up 80 points at one point against Langston, and now the defense has a solid performance once again. So I think it just goes to show that this UTRGV team can find ways to win, regardless if the offense is clicking or not. Well, the defense can step up. The defense is having an off game. Hey, this offense is capable of putting up 500 yards and 60 points if needed. So I think it's just interesting to see and exciting to see that this UTRGV team is very they feed off each other and they don't rely just on one way to win the ball. You shut down the run, we can go to the pass. You go to the pass, we can run the ball, and they adjust. Like you mentioned, they lean more to that running game in the second half, and it worked out. And I think that's also just credit to the coaches and the players and being able to find ways to win and not just being a one trick pony per se.
Yeah, very, very impressive by the Vaqueros too. I mean, so it's your second ever conference game at home. All the pressure in the world. When what are they going to look like? How are they going to perform? And they come out and execute. And they had a good week of practice, and it showed in Saturday's game. Man, I mean, yeah, Houston Christian played them tough, and Houston Christian has a good defense, and the Vaqueros they answer some more questions here. And as we talked about earlier, Ivan, it's not a question of if the Vaqueros are going to be able to win games in the Southland Conference now. It's how many are they going to be able to win, because we know that they can compete. We saw what Southeastern Louisiana this past weekend. They blew McNeese out of the water. I believe it was 34-0 against McNeese. So UTRGV, we saw what they did against Southeastern Louisiana on the road in Hammond in enemy territory, and the Vaqueros have a strong showing. So the Vaqueros are definitely going to be in some games here as they get ready to start the second half of their season. It's they're on their bye week this week, kind of light week, kind of heal up some injuries this week. The Vaqueros are light practice today. Tomorrow will be more closer to a full practice session. Then they'll practice again Thursday, take Friday off, and I believe Saturday off as well, and then back to work on Sunday and Monday as they get ready for the Lamar Cardinals in Week 8, and that'll be a tough game. Lamar is currently entering Week 7. They're the number 25 ranked team in the FCS, so that'll be hard. Vaqueros going to have to go on the road for that one. We'll bring you a preview of that game versus the Lamar Cardinals next week when the Vaqueros return from their bye. But yeah, Ivan, I mean, we know that UTRGV can play some ball, man. So I think it's been pleasant to see just the start that they've gotten off to. I don't know how many people would have predicted it, but here the Vaqueros are, man, 5-1, receiving votes in the American Football Coaches Association poll for the second time this season. at 5-1. So I mean, hey man, if they can make some noise here in the second half of the season, who's to say they can't do more than receive votes and earn a ranking? You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how the Vaqueros can handle that and move on as they continue their inaugural season here in 2025. So yeah, as we said, we'll be back with you guys next week for to break down UTRGV's game against Lamar. But before we do that, we're going to have an interview with UTRGV defensive back Marcus Hurd Jr. He's a redshirt junior from Bryan, Texas. Played at Rudder High School, and then of course went to Davidson before ultimately transferring to UTRGV. But Ivan, he's been one of the day one guys. He's been playing a key role, leadership role, one of the only veteran, experienced guys in the secondary last year. And now here he is, kind of leading the Vaqueros, playing a big part in that secondary in their 5-1 start. I know we've seen him all around campus. At games, at the different sports games and stuff as he works with the athletic department. So just your thoughts on MJ Hurd and what he's done here, being one of the day one guys with the Vaqueros.
Yeah, man, he just brings a different energy to the team. I mean, he's one of the most, humble, respectable guys we've talked to. I mean, you mentioned he's been here, the day one guy here, and he's really taken on that leadership role and really kind of taken to the Valley. I mean, you've seen him at basketball games there. He's one of the ushers there, I think is what it's called. And he's embraced the Valley, and the Valley's embraced him. I think he's a playmaker on defense, but even off the field, man, the kid's just an all around. He's the kind of guy you want on your team to bring that leadership, like you mentioned, bring that veteran experience and kind of guide these younger guys who haven't been through these programs before. And just a good example, I think, to all these younger guys. And hey, just a stud athlete on the field too, man. I mean, he's a DB, he makes plays out there too. And just a solid overall guy there for the Vaqueros to kind of lean on both on and off the field.
Absolutely, yeah, stud leader there in the Vaqueros secondary and on the defensive side of the ball. So without further ado, here is our interview with UTRGV defensive back Marcus Hurd Jr. What's up, everybody? My name is Bryan Ramos with RGV Sports, and here we are today, joined by UTRGV defensive back Marcus Hurd Jr. MJ, man, you're redshirt junior from Bryan, Texas. Played high school ball at Rudder. Just talk to me a little bit about your upbringing, man, and how you ultimately decided to call UTRGV home.
Man, hardworking household, man. Father, my mom. I was coaches. My dad, well, he didn't coach like for school, but he coached me all the way up from Pee Wee, Pop Warner football. If people remember that, all the way up. Like I played basketball, AAU, and then I played all the way up to like my junior year, my sophomore year. So I was under my dad. I was coached hard. I was loved hard. They gave me a lot of tough love, a lot of discipline early on. My mom as well. I got my grandparents. Kind of, had a, they say it takes a village, so I had, make sure my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and all others, just kind of implement seeds and stuff like that on my journey here. And ultimately, just leading up to here, started off at another college, another institution, FCS institution, and I felt like it was time for change. I knew we was building something here, so I just wanted to come join and be the first, start something off, start off the right way as well. So.
Awesome, man. And so, yeah, as you mentioned, man, you played college football at Davidson, right?
Yes, sir.
And so talk to me a little bit about your time there and what that experience was like for you. I know you guys, you had an FCS playoff appearance in your time there, right?
Yes, sir. So my freshman year at Davidson, so 2022? Yeah, 2022. We played the Richmond Spiders on the road, FCS. It was a playoff game. I started in that game. I kind of started some other games. Started like kind of half the season as a freshman, but I started in that playoff game. That atmosphere was crazy. They sold it out. It was my first time kind of tasting the collegiate playoffs. We came up short, but it's really a growth experience for me, just from that game plan, from the travel to how they treated us, the hospitality there. That's something that going from high school to college is a huge leap. So I kind of had some maturity and I was able to grow there. And then at Davidson, I learned some leadership skills. A lot of great guys that have mentored me, and a great coaching staff. Coach Abel, he's down here in Texas, down here at Rice. He implemented some great seeds, and I still carry him here to UTRGV. So.
Absolutely, man. Then you transferred into this program, one of the first players to transfer in here. Been here since day one, last August, approaching almost a year and a half now that you've been down here, man. So just what has your time in the Rio Grande Valley been like? Of course, with that practice season, and now here you guys are 5-1, midway point of your inaugural season.
It's been surreal. It's been a surreal moment. It's been surreal just time here in the valley. I've been learning. I've been learning since the day I stepped foot on here. Whether it's been on the field, off the field, whether it's been about the culture and the community around here in the valley. The support that they have is unconditional. As you can see, sold out every game we've had has been sold out. Crowds, the hospitality, and then on the field, obviously learning from Coach A. Mag. Learn how to be a pro from Coach Coleman, Coach Bush, just doing things the right way. I'm learning to this day. Today is practice, so just being better every day is what I kind of learned from you being here.
Absolutely, man. And you talked about him right there, Coach Mack, man. Adrian McDonald, the safeties coach, defensive backs coach. Here, I know you guys have that model. You guys use safe.
Safe, yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that model and how you guys use that in the secondary in one of that important positions.
So as most people know, just playing DB. So whether it's a corner or a safety, you guard the receivers, and in the game today is the offense and playbook is endless.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of go out there and you expect unexpected every play. If you give up something, the whole stadium knows. So if we play in front of 12, 13,000 people, you give up a deep ball, everybody in the stadium knows that number 4, you gave up your deep ball. So you gotta have that next play mentality, and you gotta understand that what we do ain't for everybody. That's what the motto is, stuff ain't for everybody. You gotta know that, man. They gotta be next play, and you gotta have a thick skin. You gotta be able to be coachable. You gotta do things that everybody want to do. You gotta be able to fit the run, play the pass. You gotta be the best of both worlds. So that's kind of a motto that we live every day here. That's we're gonna have bad practice. We're gonna have good practice. We gotta have a what next mentality. We gotta know that everything, the back end, everything is on us. Communication piece, whether you communicate to the linebackers, making D-line correct, make sure we're all on our P's and Q's. So just knowing that job ain't for everybody. It's like pretty much the quarterback of the defense. So,
Absolutely, man. And so, our defense has a really good performance this past weekend, man. 7 points allowed. First Southland Conference home game for you guys. 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, a few takeaways, man. Just your thoughts on what you saw from the defense in that performance against Houston Christian.
Well, first, kudos, a lot of love to our D-line. Coach Langford gets out there those guys every day. Coach a lot, the edges coach, he gets out there those guys every day. They work their tail off. They felt like they let us down, and we felt like DBs. We felt like we let those guys down. So we kind of came out and we could prep, kind of focus, and kind of wanted to rewrite the shift, kind of put bad stuff on tape against South Louisiana. We didn't prepare ourselves to go to war, at least to our standard, and we came out, and I think we was playing complementary football from the back end to the D line, and then what that means, what that entails, just for the crowd, is that the D line's getting a good rush and work. And when they get good rush, we're able to cover a lot shorter. We're not covering guys for 25 seconds. Yeah. And then when we're playing tighter coverage, those guys are able to work their pass rush moves, which goes to the 6 sacks. Ivan had 2 sacks. You got Box who had 1.5. Jam, DeMarcus Anderson, those guys. Everybody gets to eat. When we doing our job, and obviously Logic, whose interception is from the pressure from those guys, and then the LB, Jaden Haygood, Spence, Shank. So all those when we all do our job, I 111. They kind of come together. It's a beautiful sight. 27-7. It's a defensive game. Everybody knows that. So we just want to rewrite that shift moving forward, and that's just something we want to continue to do moving up to next week.
Absolutely, man. Just a couple more, man. So. You've been here since day one, like you said. I've seen you around at other games and stuff. Seen you out at baseball games and those crazy crowds there at the stadium, man. So now, what's it been like seeing that kind of support for the football team and kind of seeing the Valley rallying behind you guys and you guys kind of rallying the Valley in return?
It was expected. I truly, once I was able to go to another game, go to basketball, go to volleyball, baseball, seeing all the support that those guys got, and the anticipation, the build up. I expect everything that's been going on, the sold out crowd, the Vaquero walk, the activity, everything that we're getting. I expected it, but that's for me. I've been to the other games, but yeah, it's been crazy. It's been surreal. The support that has been endless. We know that they're supporting us, and we want to put out a good show for them. We would like to keep that undefeated streak at home. We got some big guys, some big dogs coming in, and we want to keep that there. Just want them to know that they're a big part of it. Our 6-man. I'm from Palacios. I was going to say 12-man, but You got 12 men. They got 12 men, the crowd, and that really matters. And going to a game and having that environment to know that one, we're gonna go out there and give them our all, and we know that they're going to support us as well. So it's good.
And last thing here, man. So we all know where UTRGV was picked in the preseason poll, 10th out of 10 teams in the Southland, and now you guys already have your Southland one Southland win. So you guys are proving you guys can compete in there. So now it's become not can they compete? It's how many games can they win? So your focus and the team's focus as you approach this second half of the season, 6 more games left, bye week right in the middle. What do you want to see from your team as you continue and finish up this inaugural season?
Well, we know that we can't get ahead of ourselves. We're 5-1, but we can easily finish the season 5-7. You know, we playing in a tough conference. Every opponent we know at least moving forward, and every opponent that we've seen in the conference, whether it's South Louisiana and Houston Christian, every opponent is going to bring it. Everyone's going to bring it. We know the new dog, the new guy in town, new kid on the block, whatever you want to call it. We know that they're going to bring it, and we kind of just focus on 1 week at a time. So this week is our bye week. We want to win the bye week. I know that theoretically we can't come out the bye week 1-0, but we want to have that mindset to we feel good walking off the field tomorrow, Thursday, knowing that we had a good week of prep, getting back on our feet and things like that. So going into the following week with Lamar, we just want to give those guys a respect of preparing and doing things the right way, and really just know that it's about us. We can't really get too far ahead of ourselves, but like I said, we're 5-1 now. We can easily finish this bad boy off 5 if we don't come in with the right mentality and right attitude. And just know that everybody's going to bring it to us, so we got to be on our A game. We can't get too far ahead of ourselves looking down the road. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes,
all right, MJ, that's all the questions I have, man. Thank you for joining us, man. This has been UTRGV defensive back Marcus Hurd, man, and best of luck to you guys as you finish up this inaugural season.
Thank you.
Thank you, MJ.
Thank you to Marcus Hurd Jr. for joining us here on the Valley Ball podcast, breaking down UTRGV Vaqueros football here in their inaugural season. We look forward to catching the Vaqueros in action as they continue their inaugural season. That'll be in week 8 as they resume play. So, Ivan, just your final thoughts on UTRGV here on their bye week, and not just their bye week, a little bye week for us as well as we're in the middle of the college football season.
Hey, man, you're 1 win away from 500 now, just 1 win, and you get that 500 mark in your first season. And I think these guys aren't satisfied with just 500. They want more, and I expect them to, compete for more too. Some tough opponents coming up, but I think they're ready for it. But this weekend, man, we're going to enjoy a little break. And hey, that Red River rivalry is going on this week too. So let's see if Texas can bounce back in that one, or for you OU fans, see if OU can get that win. But yeah, man, it's exciting times here and just in UTRGV football.
Heck yeah, got to be rooting for that UT system, right?
Yes, sir.
Vaqueros, man. So, so we'll see. Going to definitely take in some college football this Saturday. Maybe be scouting some other Southland Conference opponents. You know what I mean? What we got coming up on the slate. So, going to be interesting to see the other Southland Conference games taking place this Saturday as well. So, really looking forward to that. I mean, bye week right in the middle of the season. Coach Bush said couldn't come at a better time for the Vaqueros. Right in the middle of that inaugural season. Now, hey, 6 more games. Let's see what we got left in the tank. So, as you said, Ivan, Vaqueros, it's not if they can win in the Southland, it's how many can they win. So, we'll see with the Vaqueros when they get back in action next week against the Lamar Cardinals. That game will be on the road in Beaumont, Texas. So, we'll be back with you next week for a preview of that game as the Vaqueros continue their inaugural season. So, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Valley Ball podcast talking UTRGV Vaqueros football. We'll catch you next time.